Let's go forward.
Yes, let's go.
You talked about your mom being on heroin, and then here we are. You're 17 years old,
Yes.
addicted to drugs, prostitution, abortion, all these things, children being taken away. So start with, how did you become addicted to drugs?
Okay, this is what happened. I went back to my mother.
Okay.
You know, I was about 15, 16, and I had about 15, and I had a conversation. I was living with her again, and she was telling me about, this is how we got into prostitution. She was talking to me about, well, you know, I just want to sit down and tell you, you know, you could get paid if you did this. You're already doing it with your daughter's father, and you're not getting paid, you're not getting anything. So if you do this, you can get paid for what you do. So she introduced me to an older man, which became my second daughter's father. Yes, ma'am. And that at 15 years old, he was probably like 50. And I think that was one source of my shame that started coming in when I was, you know, I had to drink, you know, just to psych myself out to go and be with him. And then at that time, my mother, you know, wanted half my money, you know what I'm saying, because she was on heroin. So it was a whole nother different ball game there.
Your mama turned into your pimp.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, wanted to, and then I refused after a while. But anyway, and I remember one time you asked me, you know, how did you feel? You know, where did the first point of shame come? Was when my 12-year-old sister and I was living with my mother at the same time, and she took us to an apartment where there were several men living there, and she put my sister in a room with these guys to do what they wanted to do. But instead of them messing with her, I stepped in and took her place because she was a virgin. I didn't want her to be hurt. But I thank God, you know, that he brought me from there. I didn't want to cry. But that was a source of the first point of my shame, because I wanted to be an example for her, but I didn't want them to hurt her.
Yes.
And but anyway, after that, she still ended up getting raped and sent to a foster home. So, but I just thank God that today, you know, I'm better off now, you know what I'm saying, because I wanted to be an example for her, but that was the source of my shame. That's when it really hit me in the face that, you know, I have took this to a whole nother level.
Then you moved from that and then into a late-term abortion.
Yes.
What happened?
Well.
And why?
And what happened was, by the time I was 17, I started experimenting with crack cocaine and different other things. And then I met this guy named, I'm going to say his name. And anyway, I started dating him. But after 6 months, you know, I found that I didn't like him too much, you know what I mean? And so I wanted to change. But at that time, I was pregnant. I had got pregnant shortly after I got with him. And I knew I didn't want to be bothered with him for the rest of my life.
Amen.
But I played around with that decision, whether to keep the baby or to abort it. And I went to talk to my doctor, and I was probably about close to 5 months pregnant. And he said, well, this is what would happen. And then, but my whole goal was, it was me. I was selfish.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I was selfish, and I knew I didn't want to be bothered with the father, but I actually took it out on the child. The child was helpless. It wasn't its fault. You know, so what I did was went to the doctor, and he met me at the hospital, and he shot saline solution in my navel, which caused the baby to start dying in your stomach, and start aborting it. And I'm telling you, for 12 hours, I thought I was going to die. The nurses didn't want to come in. I was all by myself in this hospital, and I was just asking God to just forgive me and help me through the night. And but by morning, I gave birth to the child, but after that, I tried to hide what I had done in the back of my mind, and the deep recesses of my mind, but it kept coming up, what could have become of that child? And so I started getting high. I started doing drugs. Then my best friend died, so I started getting higher, even higher, you know, and I just thought, you know, maybe if I can just block it out, but, you know, I don't care what I tried, it didn't work.
Do you have any words to share with women who have had an abortion and who are still struggling with that?
Yes. One thing I want to let women know, those who have had abortions or struggling with it, is that the Lord is, according to my Christian faith and what I've experienced, that no matter what, the baby that's in your stomach is still a child. And then once we first deal with that, but I want to let you know, if you have had an abortion, that you can be forgiven. You know, and that's one thing you need to understand. You can be forgiven, and that the Lord loves you, you know, in spite of whatever decisions we make, but he does love us, and we need to and know that we've been forgiven. And it's number one is forgiving yourself. You have got to work on forgiving yourself and surround yourself with people who celebrate you and not tolerate you.
What do you want readers to learn the most from your book?
The most thing I want readers to know is that once an addict is not always an addict. You know, once Jesus sets you free, you're set free. The world may say, you know what I'm saying, you can never be delivered, but Jesus Christ said those whom the Son sets free is free indeed. And that was, you know, the main thing I wanted people to get out of the book, because he restored my mindset. It's so many things he set me free from.